Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're talking lesson 65, ratio problems involving totals. These are going to be three-part ratios. Usually a ratio, of course, is a fraction. Usually you're used to two-part fractions, but now we've got to do a little bit extra work where we find some more information that's not readily given to us. So for those of you who are following along at home, I forgot to turn to the page. We're on page 395 through 396. Let's start with our first example. So if you are in my class, you need to be taking notes. You don't have to write down all this that I did. I was just trying to make it a little bit easier so you're not watching me write things as I'm lecturing. However, you do need to take notes. So everything else that I write down, you gotta write that down. That needs to go into your portfolio. All right, so for example number 1, the ratio of football players to soccer players in the room was 5 to 7. So straight off the bat, 5, and remember it's always in order, so football players to soccer players. 5 football to 7 soccer. If 48 players were in the room, how many were football players? So as far as these three-part ratios go, once you have the two parts, you need your third part, which is your total. So if we do that, we get 12 total. So we got this three-part ratio, as I'm saying. So if 48 players were in the room, so this is our ratio, but then we've got to compare it to something. So that is 48 players. That's going to be our total down here. So 48 players in the room. How many were football players? Well, let's let X equal football players. Now notice I'm lining those all up. Football goes here, soccer goes here, total goes here. Really, I don't even need the soccer ones. That was just to give me my total. So my new proportion that I have, remember a proportion is comparing two ratios, is 5 over 12 equals X over 48. And when we have it like this, we can cross multiply. This times this gives me 12X equals this times this, which is 48 times 5. I don't even have to do the 48 times 5 part here, because watch what happens. To get that 12 by itself, I'm going to divide by 12, divide by 12. This cancels out, this cancels out. Let's cross, or let's do some canceling out. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 48 divided by 12 is 4. So you see we did some without having to do 48 times 5. 4 times 5, though, is 20. So we go back and we look. If 48 players were in the room, how many were football players? 20 players were football players. These are word problems. You need to be answering them in a sentence. All right, guys, so your practice problems are on the bottom here. You'll see that there are 2 of those on page 396. Acrobats and clowns converged on this. Oh, so pause the video now, try these practice problems, and then come on back. Acrobats and clowns converged on the center ring in the ratio of 3 to 5. If there were a total of 72 acrobats and clowns, how many were clowns? So there was 3 to 5 acrobats to clowns. So 3 acrobats, 5 clowns gave us a total of 8 total. If there were a total of 72 acrobats and clowns, how many were clowns? 72 total. We want to know how many were clowns, so I'm going to put it in the clown section there. That means our acrobats, we can go away with that. We don't even need that. 5 over 8 equals X over 72. If we cross multiply, we get 8X equals 72 times 5. Divide this side by 8 to cancel it out. Divide this by 8. Oh, and I can cross cancel again. Or not cross cancel, just cancel out. Divide by 8, I get 1. Divide by 8 here, I get 9. 9 times 5 will give me 45 were clowns. All right. The ratio of men to women at the prom was 8 to 9. That means when we have 8 men, we had 9 women. And remember, this is a 3-parter, so we have 17 total because 8 plus 9. If 240 men were in attendance, okay, so we know 240 men, we're going to put that right there. How many people attended in all? Well, that's going to be our total, so we're going to put that down here. So we don't need our women thing. We've got 8 out of 17 equals 24. or 240 times x. And we have, so let's cross cancel. This times this equals this times this. 8x equals 240 times 17. And if it's easier for you, you can do 240 times 17 on the calculator and then divide it by 8, but I'm just trying to do this in my head. These cancel out. I get x equals, divide by 8 here, I get 1. Divide by 8 here, I get 30. 30 times 17. See, like that one I need the calculator for because I'll make a silly mistake. 510. So how many people attended it all? 510 attended total. All right, guys, if you have any questions at all, be sure to let me know. Otherwise, great work, and I look forward to seeing your notes. Thanks, guys.